Welcome to GrassRoot, Ohio, conversations with everyday people working on important issues here in Columbus and all around Ohio. I'm Carolyn Harding, and today I'm talking with Kyle Herman and Lee Crumrine, Ohioans working to establish ranked choice voting in our state. Kyle Herman co-founded Rank the Vote Ohio in 2020, volunteering in different capacities until he was hired to serve full-time as executive director, with the help of their national partner, Rank the Vote USA, in December 2022. Before his work with Rank the Vote Ohio, Kyle managed pro-democracy programs in Iraq and Lebanon, worked for the White House Office of Presidential Correspondence, and taught high school history and civics. Kyle was just sworn in as Stowe Ohio City Council member. A proud son of Stowe, Ohio, Kyle earned degrees from Ohio Wesleyan University and the Harvard Kennedy School of Government. Lee Crumrine is a public sector law attorney and currently serves as an assistant law director providing legal services to a Northeast Ohio municipality. He earned his Bachelor of Arts in History and Political Science from Ohio University and his Juris Doctor from William and Mary Law School. He is a resident of University Heights, Ohio, and previously served on the 2022-23 University Heights Charter Review Commission, during which time he proposed an amendment to the city's charter to adopt ranked choice voting for city elections. He is now the chair of Rank University Heights, a local ballot issue committee comprising several former members of the commission that supports the adoption of ranked choice voting in University Heights, with the goal of getting a charter amendment on the ballot in 2024. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
It's 2024, and it's a big one for our communities, our state and country. And ranked choice voting is gaining momentum here and all around the country. So for all our folks who are listening or watching and are new to ranked choice voting, what is ranked choice voting? In a nutshell, Kyle.
Ranked choice voting is a simple upgrade to the way we vote that is already used statewide in Maine and Alaska and across in more than 50 cities across the country, where instead of just picking one candidate, you can rank your options first, second, third, and so forth. That way, more parties and candidates can run, and you have more confidence that your vote will actually matter.
And Lee, how does this work? Kind of break down how ranked choice voting works for a voter.
For a voter, it's very simple. I think all people are used to ranking their preferences of different things, their favorite foods. So when a voter goes to the polls, they'll have a ballot just like Cal just showed, and they will mark their candidates by preference, 1 through whatever number the ballot allows you to mark, from their favorite candidate to their least favorite candidate, and that the results will reflect their preferences a lot better than our current winner-take-all system.
And from there, it acts like an instant runoff, because the problem with our current elections is that they don't require a majority to win. So if more than 2 parties or candidates run, somebody can win with 30 or 40% of the vote, even if 60 or 70% vote against them, which actually happens a lot in Ohio, especially in primaries and local elections. And so ranked choice voting solves that problem by requiring a majority to win. Unlike other states like Georgia that will have actual runoffs that are wasteful, costly second elections, with ranked choice voting, we already know who your backup choices are. So if no one gets more than 50%, the last place candidate is eliminated. And if you voted for them, instead of your vote being wasted, it will just transfer to your next choice.
Sounds pretty interesting. Let's talk about some of the top reasons ranked choice voting is better than what we have now, which is sometimes called plurality voting. What are some of the top reasons that people are embracing ranked choice voting? Let's start with you, Kyle, and then Lee, you'll let us know.
The beauty of requiring that majority to win isn't just that it helps determine who the winner is, it helps to change the incentive structure for all the candidates, so they have to appeal to the majority of the voters in order to win, instead of only appealing to the extremists in their own partisan base. And so ranked choice voting helps incentivize cooperation for the common good and helps reflect the will of the pro-democracy majority.
Right. We think that the biggest benefit to ranked choice voting is facilitating the representation of minority groups in our community. The biggest flaw in our winner-take-all system is it has a tendency to overrepresent the majority and systematically underrepresent minority groups. In our community, that would be could be political, ethnic, religious groups. Could be in our jurisdiction, be Republicans who are far outnumbered. We also have a growing Orthodox Jewish community. And this will give them more votes in our local government.
What about independents and third parties?
Certainly, it would give them the opportunity to, a lot of voters have to choose between, voting for who they think might be the most viable candidate versus their true preference. And this will give independents, third parties, the opportunity to vote for the candidate they truly prefer. And it won't cost their next choice the election. So their candidates won't be spoilers.
The spoiler effect. I know that very well. I experienced that myself when, say, Hillary and Jill Stein and Trump were running.
Right.
And Hillary was supposed to win. And I'm a very strong advocate for environmental issues. So I voted for Jill, and Trump won. So my vow was, until we get ranked choice voting, we have to stay with the two major parties, which it just really limits a lot of people. So what personally brought you into ranked choice voting? What was it that really said, this is something we need to work for? Let's start with you, Kyle.
So I got into it back in 2015. There was a Harvard law professor named Lawrence Lessig who ran this long shot Fix Democracy First campaign, where he was trying to bring attention to how all these issues that are in politics, the reason why we don't get anything done most of the time is because the system itself is flawed to not represent the majority of the people. And so ranked choice voting was a major part of his proposal. And so I watched then in horror over the course of the 2016 election, during the primary and the general election, realizing, wow, ranked choice voting could have helped solve this in so many ways. And so ever since then, I've been a broken record on social media, and that's how I ended up getting connected to other people in Ohio who were also interested, and we organically got together and as volunteers created Rank the Vote Ohio.
Very cool. How about you, Lee?
Sure. Last year, I served on our city's Charter Review Commission. I was appointed to that. And while on that commission, I was looking at ways to improve our democratic process at the local level. And I was looking at our elections from the previous cycle, municipal elections, and I saw the potential there for split votes and spoilers. We had a mayoral candidate who won close to a majority, but not quite a majority, with four candidates running for that single office. And we had in our council race a lot of candidates, similar candidates splitting votes between each other. And I thought that had the potential to be unrepresentative of our community. And I thought proposing ranked choice voting for our city could improve our local government.
So you were looking after all of the voters, basically.
Yes, I think it would give more fair representation to the diverse interests and groups in our community.
Excellent. On a November 15, 2023 press release following Election Day, U.S. Senators Michael Bennet, Democrat from Colorado, and Angus King, an independent from Maine, reintroduced the Voter Choice Act to support adoption of a ranked choice voting model for elections, also known as instant runoff. The Voter Choice Act provides $40 million in federal grants to cover up 50% of the cost for state and local governments that choose to adopt ranked choice voting. And on December 2023, Colorado Governor Jared Polis endorsed ranked choice voting after it was used in his hometown of Boulder for the first time. In 2021, Polis signed legislation making it easier for Colorado cities to adopt ranked choice voting. Kyle, Rank the Vote Ohio now has organizers for nearly every region of Ohio. Where are we right now regarding passing ranked choice voting in Ohio?
So we have chapters in all 5 major regions of Ohio, but they're led by volunteers and part-time organizers. I'm still Rank the Vote Ohio's only full-time staff, and we got to the point where we are because of the volunteer power and the donors who have contributed to us at rankthevoteohio.org. And in the past year, we've grown from less than 4,000 to more than 16,000 registered supporters. So explosive growth, but we know that to do a statewide ballot initiative, we would need 414,000 valid signatures to qualify. So in the meantime, we're continuing our public education because the vast majority of people, when they learn about ranked choice voting, it's a no-brainer, they support it. And part of the way that we're going to continue growing support is through supporting local initiatives like the one that started in University Heights. We actually at Rank the Vote Ohio didn't even know that Lee had proposed it and that his Charter Review Commission had approved it until the next day. He reached out via email and said, hey, like, our commission is endorsing ranked choice voting. And so it's this local organic interest from cities across Ohio where we're seeing volunteers step up, and Rank the Vote Ohio is just here to support those efforts.
Well, according to statenews.org, no Ohio cities have ranked choice voting. But in the early 1900s, 5 Ohio cities, Ashtabula, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Hamilton, and Toledo had ranked choice voting. Lee, you are running a campaign to amend the city charter of your town, University Heights, which is a suburb on the east side of Cleveland, to adopt ranked choice voting. Congratulations. And are you hoping the city council will adopt it, or are you taking it to the voters as a ballot initiative?
We're gearing up for a ballot initiative. When the Charter Review Commission recommended it to council, they declined to put it on the ballot last November. So a few members of that commission formed Rank University Heights, and we are looking to start a petition here very soon. We need about close to 500 signatures at a minimum to get it on the ballot here. This is a very small city, 14,000 residents. So we're going to be working on launching that very soon. But yeah, it's not new to Cuyahoga County at all. Cleveland had ranked choice voting from 1915 to 1931. And even Cuyahoga County voters approved ranked choice voting for county government in 1935, although that never went into effect, but they still voted for a charter that would adopt that. So we're hoping to reintroduce it to Cuyahoga County.
I'm curious why it ended, ranked choice voting.
I think Cal probably has a better grasp on the history of it to explain.
Yeah, so there's this great book by Kathleen Barber, who was a professor at John Carroll University in University Heights, and she was also a reformer on Cuyahoga County Council. She wrote, the book is called Proportional Representation and Election Reform in Ohio, and we learned a lot from it about the history. And really what happened is that ranked choice voting became a victim of its own success. It was so effective at increasing representation for women, minorities, more parties, more ideologies, that the party bosses of the time, the Democrats and the Republicans, colluded to get rid of ranked choice voting with support from groups like the KKK, who didn't like the increased diversity of representation.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was talking to my city council president, introducing ranked choice voting, and he questioned how ranked choice voting could work for both a mayor and city council election. Can you talk about the single candidate instant runoff versus the proportional ranked choice voting the two different kinds that you are proposing to use. Lee, are you using both of them in your proposal?
Our Charter Review Commission recommended both. Our organization is still exploring whether or not to pursue one before the other. We'll make that decision soon, I think. But yeah, the more common form of ranked choice voting is instant runoff voting, which is a single winner version of ranked choice voting, which we would use for our mayoral race, having one winner. That would, as Kyle explained, just in successive instant runoff rounds, eliminate the lowest vote total, or vote the candidate with the lowest vote total, and their choices would go to their votes would go to the next choice candidate. It is adaptable to multi-seat races like our council race. Right now, we have either 4 or 3 seats, depending on the election, open at once, and it is just the voters can choose up to 4 vote or make up to 4 choices if there are 4 seats available, and the candidate with the most votes wins. A multi-seat proportional representation version of ranked choice voting would work very similar to the instant runoff voting, except for it would also redistribute votes from candidates who exceed the number mathematically they need to get. So it's a little bit different. It's a little bit, the tabulation at least is a little more, is a little different. But voting for the voter on the ballot, it'll look the same. Just rank your top choices.
How about you, Kyle? Can you just weigh in on that one?
Yeah, the most intuitive form of ranked choice voting is the single winner, and the vast majority of races are inherently single winner races. And so we do understand that when applied to like an at-large city council seat, that the tabulation is a little different. But what it does is it ensures that the voters get their highest ranked candidate who is still in the race.
Okay. This is Carolyn Harding with GrassRoot, Ohio, and I'm talking with Kyle Herman and Lee Crumrine. They're both advocates for ranked choice voting in Ohio. So let's talk about the gorilla in the room. Right now, there is a bipartisan bill, Senate Bill 137, which would, if passed, severely impact municipal efforts to pass ranked choice voting. Senate Bill 137 appears to be straight out of the ALEC, or American Legislative Exchange Council's playbook. And according to Ohio Capital Journal, quotation, its anti-ranked choice voting proposal, ALEC insists that states are the fundamental level of government and warns activists are trying to advance the procedure through local elections. ALEC says ranked choice is novel and complicated and asserts it creates conflict between state and local election processes. Maine and Alaska have used ranked choice in federal races since 2020 and 2022, respectively, without a problem. And several municipalities around the country use it for local elections as well. ALEC's model legislation would prohibit any procedure where voters vote for more than one candidate or rank multiple candidates for the same office, as well as any system that reallocates a voter's vote to another candidate. Lee, can you talk about this bill, Senate Bill 137?
Sure. From our perspective, the bill's text, in itself concedes that the state can't prohibit the charter cities from adopting ranked choice voting for their own city elections. So instead, it's trying to financially punish cities that choose to exercise their constitutional power to home rule power, to exercise all powers of local self-government. We think this is it's not a violation of home rule. This is a violation of the spirit of that amendment. The purpose of it was to put the conduct of municipal affairs in the hands of local officials who know our community best. It's intended to let us decide for ourselves how to govern our community, and you know, potentially could cost our city thousands of dollars worth of funding from the state if it were to pass. So when it has not received opponent testimony yet, but when that time comes, we will be submitting our testimony against that bill.
Do you have any, Kyle, is there any action from Rank the Vote Ohio to bolster home rule protection regarding Senate Bill 137?
Yes, because Alex's prescription is totally out of line with the Constitution of Ohio. You may feel that other states should have dictatorial role over cities and by making the state, the final arbiter of everything. But during the progressive era, when Ohioans amended our state constitution in order to make it more democratic, we guaranteed home rule authority for charter cities and counties. Because here in Ohio, we believe that the state should not dictate a one-size-fits-all prescription for all of our local governments. We constitutionally gave cities in Ohio the right to choose how we elect our representatives. And because of that conservative principle, that decisions are best made when they're made closest to home. And so the sponsor of the bill recognized that Alex's proposal is incompatible with Ohio, and she knows that she can't ban ranked choice voting outright. So what she's doing is proposing a bill that would withhold local government funds from any city that exercises its constitutional right to use ranked choice voting. And ranked choice voting was challenged back when it was in Cleveland. It went to the Ohio Supreme Court, and there was a case in 1923 that upheld ranked choice voting as compatible with one person, one vote, and affirmed that Ohio cities have a constitutional right to use ranked choice voting.
So I know that Alec in Ohio is primarily followed and memberships of mostly Republican senators. But this is a bipartisan bill. And there's a Democratic senator who is supporting this bill. Why would a Democrat and a Republican leader, sponsor this bill and want to push it through?
Well, it's just like we saw 100 years ago in Ohio, was the corrupt party bosses from both sides who want to suppress people's choices because they want to maintain the duopoly. And so what we're seeing now is we have a partisan from a deep blue district joining with a partisan from a deep red district in order to prevent voters in all districts from having more free and fair elections. And on the flip side of that, we do know that there is bipartisan support for ranked choice voting within the state house. This is a nonpartisan issue, and it is actually the types of representatives across the political spectrum who want to work for the common good who support ranked choice voting. And so it is sort of bizarre that you also have that bipartisan push against it.
Yeah, I think that's why former Representative Gene Krebs argues that conservative opposition to ranked choice voting is short-sighted. In Cuyahoga County, many blue cities up here, it would be a benefit to Republican voters to have ranked choice voting here. There's 562 or so registered Republicans in University Heights, whereas there's 3,000 registered Democrats. Having ranked choice voting here in University Heights would give Republicans in our community more influence in our local government.
And I come from very, progressive Democratic side. And Rob Portman supports ranked choice voting, and he's I guess, fairly moderate Republican. And I know ranked choice voting you have to get a 50% plus one majority. That means you have to get the support of more than your group. And my issues are very progressive, and I'm still supporting it because I feel like everybody's vote counts, and we all have to work together. We all have to come together and make this work and get rid of this polarity, this bitter polarity that's causing us to be at stalemate in our Ohio politics. So I heard from the Democratic sponsor saying that it was too hard to learn, too expensive. What are some of the other, excuses that they're giving to not adopt ranked choice voting? Anything else?
Well, that's the main opposition is people claim that it's too complicated, but
Right.
when you actually show people the ballot, it's intuitive. Everyone knows how to rank their choices. And then in the places that have actually used ranked choice voting, like Alaska and New York City and other places, 85, 90% or more of people, after even trying it once, say that it's simple, and the vast majority want to keep using it. And I think that's the real fear behind this ban bill, is that the sponsors know that if Ohioans start using ranked choice voting at the local level, they're going to want it at the state level. So they're trying to kill democracy before it grows.
Yeah, and part of the reason for its comeback recently is it's even easier than it was in the early 20th century, with software now available to run the tabulation. In the 20th century, they were hand counting all these ballots. So that argument is less important today than it was 100 years ago. So,
And Lee, what are your tactics to win ranked choice voting for University Heights? And if you do, you're going to be a huge light for the rest of the cities to go ahead and do that as well. What are your tactics?
yeah, well, I hope we can, if we can successfully implement ranked choice voting here, inspire some cities in Cuyahoga County and across Ohio to adopt ranked choice voting too. We're really early in our campaign. We've had the support, thankfully, of organizations like Kyle's to help educate voters about ranked choice voting. We are just gearing up for our campaign, but we're going to have to it's going to be grassroots here. We're going to have to go door to door and explain ranked choice voting to a lot of voters who are unfamiliar with it. So that it's just going to have to be a local campaign here, door to door, basically.
And any Ohioans who want to help locally or statewide can join us at rankthevotehio.org. We have a petition for ranked choice voting that people can share in order to help grow support, and a petition specifically opposed to the ban bill, that no matter how you feel about ranked choice voting itself, Ohioans want to protect local home rule.
Kyle, I noticed that Rank the Vote Ohio was very involved in defeating issue 1 in August, a special election that would have making it more difficult for ballot initiatives to pass. As you progress in educating Ohioans about ranked choice voting, are you working to help other organizations in their ballot initiatives right now?
Yes, Rank the Vote Ohio's mission is not just ranked choice voting. Ranked choice voting is the means to an end, and that end is greater choice, a stronger voice, and a representative democracy that works for all Ohioans. And so independent redistricting is an extremely compatible reform, because ranked choice voting and independent redistricting complement each other in order to give all people more accurate representation. And for that reason, we've joined the Citizens Not Politicians coalition in support of the 2024 initiative for independent redistricting. And so we're going to be helping with that as we also continue to do our own public education about ranked choice voting and support local efforts like Lee's in University Heights.
Well, I know some of the organizers for Citizens Not Politicians, and they're a very powerful, mostly volunteer group. And I'm sure that it's a great place for you guys to learn too. Because where are they right now? Have they finalized their language, or is it still going back and forth?
So we've learned a lot from them already, and their language is finalized and it has been approved for signature collection. And so they are out gathering those 414,000 ballot signatures that they're going to need to qualify.
And their organization name is what again?
Citizens Not Politicians.
Okay, great. So, my friends, how can folks learn more about both of your initiatives and get involved in helping you and working with your campaigns? Let's start with you, Lee.
Well, we're on social media, Rank University Heights. We have a website, rankuh.org. We're just starting to identify people in our community who are supporters, and hopefully we can get this petition launched here in the next month or so, finalize what our amendment really needs to look like. So we're just going to need people in University Heights to join us and collecting signatures for that petition and getting ready for a campaign for the fall. Hopefully get it on the ballot for November.
Well, we will put your social media information in all our information so folks that are from that area can help you out. And Kyle, can people that live in the surroundings areas help them out, or does it have to be just University Heights folks?
People from the surrounding areas are more than welcome to help Rank University Heights, and Rank the Vote Ohio is here to help direct people in the area to assist. And so if anyone across Ohio wants to help with efforts in University Heights or with other potential efforts that may arise in 2024, because we have heard that there is interest in other cities. If you want to get on our list, please go to rankthevoteohio.org, where you can sign up to volunteer, you can donate, and you can sign and share our petition. And you can also follow us on social media at Rank the Vote Ohio.
Okay, last statement. Just your last thing you want to say, leave with our listeners. Let's start with you, Lee.
I think we need people to contact their representatives in the General Assembly to oppose SB 137. It's a bill, I think, that we view it as part of a larger attack on democratic processes, and it's a violation of the spirit of the Home Rule Amendment, and we just need supporters from Ohio to make it known that they want to allow cities in Ohio to choose for themselves and their own communities whether or not ranked choice voting is right for them.
Thank you. How about you, Kyle?
I agree with Lee. We need Ohioans to speak up that no matter how anyone feels about ranked choice voting, this is a decision that should be left to local citizens and local governments the way it was meant to be by the Ohio Constitution. And so we need to defend local home rule authority from SB 137. And if anyone wants to help out with that, they can join us at rankthevoteohio.org.
Okay. You've been listening to GrassRoot Ohio with Kyle Herman, Executive Director of Rank the Vote Ohio, and Lee Crumrine, Chair of Rank University Heights, Ohio. In addition to our Friday 5 p.m. broadcast on WGRN LP FM, GrassRoot Ohio airs at 2 p.m. on Sundays on WCRS-FM LP-FM, Columbus, and at 4 p.m. on WEJP-LP Wheeling, Moundsville, West Virginia. You can also find us on SoundCloud, Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.